Hello and welcome to the grand final round of the Nation versus Nation Pacific League. Nation versus Nation is, of course, a team-based competition prioritizing seizing an objective as a team rather than your usual run and gun, PvP, slay bodies, that kind of thing. Much more like a CSGO or a Rainbow Six than your typical Tarkov event. The Pacific League will feature teams from around the world, including Korea, China, Australia, New Zealand, and of course, the United States. In this grand final round, we will see our teams duking it out, take home a share of a 10,000 US dollars prize pool that has been kindly provided to us by the team over at Battlestate Games. My name is Afraid, and I am once again joined here at Fortress Melbourne by the one and only Jazza Hazard. How you doing, mate?
Very well, thank you, Afraid. Thanks for having me back again for day 2 and the grand final. I am so keen to see these teams duke out. It is going to be absolutely amazing to watch. We had great games yesterday, great raids yesterday. We saw a lot of potential, and today it's a redemption factor for Team Sicario. However, very excited for the grand final.
And I am hearing that we are actually going to be doing mode 2 for our first matchup today, which will be between Team Sicario of the Oceanic region, so Australia, New Zealand, that whole Micronesia region, very, very large area covering that this team are coming from. Some are over the west coast of Australia, some are over the east coast, and we've had some people from New Zealand as well. Definitely a very diverse team, and they will, of course, be going up against Team Expensive Healthcare from the United States. They will be going over and duking it out on labs. The winner of that round will be taking the third place position in this Nation versus Nation tournament, and they will be going home with 2,000 US dollars. Then later on today, we will be seeing our grand final round, duking it out for the top spot. It will be Team Golden Tooth of Korea, as well as Team Never Stop from China. The winner of the overall tournament will be walking away with 5,000 US dollars, and the runner-up, the second place, will be walking away with 3,000 US dollars. Absolutely huge prize pool here, Jazza. I'm super excited. And Labs is going to be. I don't think we've seen this game mode except for the very first one in the regional eliminators between the teams. Have you seen Team China or Team Korea play on Labs before?
No, so as we saw yesterday, so Team China Never Stop have only played on reserve. So they've gone 8 for 8 on reserve. They've won every single round. But it's going to be interesting to see what strategies they incorporate into this Labs turn of events.
And they are all Labs mains as well. Like that, the entire group, everyone that I know from Team Never Stop, from China, are all Labs mains. But they're also mainly solo players. So I'm really interested to see how they pull together as a team, because we saw that in that first game between the two US teams that there were definitely strategies at play there. A lot of the time it was, a lot of PvP and fast action and things like that. But there was also a tactical component to it as well. However, all of our teams will need to adhere to some rules. Jazza, we're about to cut over to the rule screen. Can you take them through it?
Absolutely, guys. So standard rules as per yesterday, as per last week as well. One sniper rifle per team. Everyone else needs a 1-byte optic or running a holo. 1 stimulant per player. So Trimadol, Propidol, any of those, only 1. However, morphine does not count. You can have as many morphines on your person as you'd like. 4 throwables per player, so only 4 grenades. Going to have to be really strategic as to when you're going to be using them, especially on labs. How to win? Kill everyone. Make sure that the other team are dead. If you can't make sure that everybody is dead, on labs, all you need to do, hit the G switch after the 7-minute mark and extract through the cargo elevator. Restrictions, no 338 ammo, no KS-23, so your kneecaps are safe here, boys. No grenade launchers, no impact grenades, and no enhanced gear.
That enhanced gear is an interesting one, because I've not really used it too much myself, but I think that I would rather take in some full durability armor, given how good a lot of these players are. We saw a lot of long-range shots being taken, and knowing that you are going to be able to survive a shot at range is, I think, more important than a 5% off or whatever you can get from those enhanced skills now. Now we have 2 teams up first. Team USA, defensive healthcare, we will have Jip, the team lead, the in-game lead, very, very, very talented PvP player. He'll be supported by Nick, Makudo, and Gunador. Then from Team OCE, Sicario, led by Arden, supported by Freddie Smalls, Yo-Yo Time, and Splinter. Splinter, of course, joined from the west coast of Australia. We did see that he was a bit of an ace in the hole yesterday. He was obviously DCing, playing on these West NA servers. Meant that he was coming in, playing for 30 seconds at a time. But the Sicario team had a strategy, and they really made that work. They were able to time all of their pushes and their fights, and use Splinter to really effectively do those like breaching, those entry frags. It was actually really, really cool to see, because you instantly think when you've got one player DCing that, you know, they're almost down and out immediately as a result. But Jazza, we didn't see that yesterday, did we? We saw Splinter coming in and just wreaking absolute havoc and allowing Arden and Freddie and even Yo-Yo to go through and just basically clean up after he'd taken out the first one or two players from Team China.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've seen extra strategic placings, especially because of Splinter. So they have to be really, really crucial on their timing, and we saw them effectively use that tomorrow. I tell you what, I would love to see what would happen if he wasn't DCing, and just how much of a powerhouse he would be. But fortunately, that is the circumstance that they've found themselves in. But they're doing well.
They really are. So we can now see the inlay of where all of our teams will be starting off from. So spawn point A, of course, is underneath the parking button, just in behind the stairs there. They will be starting on the stairs. All of the doors will be closed by our observers to make sure that it is as the map spawns in any online raid. And then spawn point B is in the kitchen, so over on the red side. Both of our teams starting on the same end of the laboratory. They will then, of course, need to make their way out of their spawn, running across the map over to Sector G, which is down in the basement. They will need to hit that button and then call the cargo elevator, which is, of course, the very top floor on the medical end of the laboratory. After that 7-minute mark, they will be able to get a player into the extract, hit that button, take the extract, and if you are the winning team, if you have one player in there from your team and they are able to extract, you have taken the win for that round. With very interesting plays in that USA matchup, Jazza, where we actually didn't really see people going for the objective. Team Expensive Healthcare said, you know what, we're all labs mains, we're all PvP players. They ran into a 2-2 split where you had Gunnar and Mokido were looking to seize the objectives and try and hold off Team The Nest players, while Nick and Jip rotated around, picked fights, did what they needed to do, some really, really dirty pre-fires on some pretty cheeky holding spots. So these guys are very, very experienced on this map. But not to discount Team Sicario, also ridiculously good at labs, thousands of raids under their belt. They know what they're doing here. They know all of the same spots that Team Expensive Healthcare do. Plus they've got that added wrecking ball, that timed attack that comes with Splinter with his reconnects. I believe we are about to cut over to our players as they are making their way over to the starting positions again in kitchen and underneath the parking button. And this, of course, Jazz, brings us into one of my favorite parts, where they do all their pre-stims.
Your mask's at the door, Splinter. Thank you.
Open a yellow injector. Okay, give me their shit. No. 27. Okay. 27, 20-minute button hit, 12 finish. Okay, right. Thank you. Put it up. Thank you. Like that. Thank you.
We see these super waters coming out there, Jazza, chugging them away, getting those extra bonus points into endurance and everything like that. We see people popping MREs, max energies, I don't think I even know what benefits a lot of these things give.
I would love to see the health screen after they've chugged all of these different items and see exactly just how much of a benefit it can actually weigh for them. But as we said, guys, you're only allowed one stimulant per person. Morphines, of course, do not count. So these players are absolutely doing everything they can to make sure that they're getting every ounce of purpose out of their PMC and going into a fight ready to go.
We can hear Jip giving out commands to his team, letting them know where to go. But I know we're talking strategy. Can we take a moment to point out that I think both Freddy and Arden are running PKMs? Are they going in? They are going in with LMGs. What is this strategy?
Am I going up?
Are we gonna? There is. I know. We did it yesterday. We did the Archer, the Cyril Figgis, the suppressing fire. I think that is going to be Team Sicario's strategy here. I think they're going to be looking to pin down Team Expensive Healthcare with those giant 100-round box mags on the LMGs.
Absolutely, it's definitely going to be an interesting strategy to see if or how it plays out and how Expensive Healthcare are going to be able to bat that. Those guns are dangerous. For anybody who doesn't know, they are absolutely...
Well, they spew out 54R, the big 7.62 rounds. Like, they are not mucking around. We see what we saw last time. Jip, Nick, Makedo, Gunner, all on the immediate crossover. They are looking to put pressure onto Team Sicario from the rip. We were wondering if they were going to play a little bit slower and try and get that G button, but no, they know that they are going into this potentially as a 4v3. Jip putting shots on, getting Sicario on the cross. They have taken out Freddy and Arden with that initial spray from Jip, running that foul. Unbelievable. I think we might see a whitewash straight off the bat. Yo-Yo is taking heavy damage. But not out of the fight yet. About to push out to the cargo elevator. Remember, this is where Mokido and Gunner are waiting. Yo-Yo is pincered right now. We don't know, has Splinter rejoined the raid yet? Is he going to be able to do enough to bring Team Sicario back into the fight? Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo takes...
I believe that might have been Nick on the push in there. Running out, putting those shots over to Mokido. It was actually Jip that has gone down. Nick still up below. We have Gunador and Mokido holding that cargo elevator. No one even worrying about anything that's going on down at the G button. They don't want to worry about the objective. They just want to fight it out.
Absolutely. This is a fight, and they do want to take the fight to them. Yo-Yo doing his best. He's rotating on those stairs as often as he can. He does not want to get stuck here.
Yo-Yo throwing out the smoke grenade. Doesn't quite go where he needs it to. Hits that railing and drops down. Oh, here we go.
Switching over to the Alton now.
Yep, we are in for a treat now. He went, you know what? I don't need my audio. I need this additional armor. And I'm pushing into it. Nick, creeping up. I believe that is actually down on the...
Yep, he's still
no, I think they're all on the same level right now. Smoke grenades going out.
Maquito holding the angle here. He's trying to make sure that if Yo-Yo does pop his head out, he is going to get absolutely
they will almost certainly have someone roaming down there.
Yeah.
They did in our other match that we did.
Hearing Arden making call-outs to Yo-Yo, they are suspecting that someone will be down at the G button. Yo-Yo is probably thinking right now that he may be able to take that person out in a 1v1. He has only seen 2 people in those upper levels. They are not sure where the rest of the team are currently.
Yo-Yo being very cautious in his movement right now. It's a good play. He's down in the basement now, and all he needs to do is be able to make his way. Unfortunately, though, given the fact that Splinter is disconnected and reconnecting at this time, Yo-Yo can't do both. He can't hit the switch and get out.
Hearing Splinter has come in and he has taken out Nick. This has turned it back into a 2v2, if I'm not mistaken. We saw Jip go down earlier to Yo-Yo as he made the push into the stairwell.
Kind of want my ears back.
Prioritizing, checking out that G button in the basement right now. Splinter has gone down. You've heard they did get the trade there. We are in a 1v2 situation. Yo-Yo pre-firing those holding points. Remember, he does not know that Gunner and Makudo are both currently up on the top floor, holding that cargo elevator.
What do you do in this situation, Fred, if you were Yo-Yo? Would you try to flick the switch and then make it up by in time, or are you just going to take the fight to them?
Look, I don't think he'd be able to get back up there in time. I think that he needs to prioritize getting that fight. Quito has now moved down into the basement as well, at the bottom of the blue stairs there, because Yo-Yo would know here that whatever they do, they either need to go hunt him down and kill him, or they need to be able to hit that button and take the extract. This is very interesting. Moving in a two-man group, they've actually opted not to worry about holding the cargo elevator. Probably not a bad play, because they know that they have an advantage here. Even if Yo-Yo is able to take out one of them, there is a very good chance that the other Team Expensive member will be able to get the trade.
Absolutely, and we can see that on his back, Yo-Yo does have that big PKB gun. He is ready and raring to go, and he's going to let that absolutely fly.
I cannot wait to hear this thing sing. If we get the old pre-fire around the corners and everything with that big drum mag, it's going to be a sight to see there, Jazza.
Absolutely. It packs a lot of punch. As you said, it's got those high caliber rounds, and tell you what, it can be so dangerous.
The arm slam from Gunner starting to drop. Remember, they have a limited amount of time to do this. Even if they don't extract after that 7-minute mark, there is a round end time shortly after, which will mean that this will turn into a draw, which is not a bad situation for Team Sicario to be in, because they have now seen Team Expensive Healthcare are using the exact same strategies that we saw in their regional qualifying rounds, where they just wanted to throw down. They didn't worry about the objective. They knew that they were capable PvP players. They knew that they knew labs, and they just wanted to take the fights. And we're seeing the exact same thing here today.
Absolutely. Now, just as a reminder, guys, there is $2,000 US on the line for this particular set. So we're seeing Yo-Yo be a bit more cautious here. He knows that he's the last one alive. Got to play it smart.
And go down the stairs.
Prone there with the PK.
Very clever plays. We can hear Arden giving direction to Yo-Yo, talking about flipping doors around and getting ready to hit the button, and perhaps we are going to see a sprint up to that cargo elevator.
I can play around these.
Yo-Yo sounds like he does not agree with that at all. We can hear him giving comms back now, saying that he thinks he is pinched in and that he may be in a spot of trouble. Nades coming out. I think we're about to see the final push from Team Expensive Healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely. The pre-nade from McQuito there, and they are getting ready to push in. Oh, Yo-Yo take... Oh, and they get the trade.
Yo-Yo taking out Gunner. McQuito immediately getting the trade. Yo-Yo knew that that's what was coming. That does mean, Jazza, Team Expensive Healthcare have won the first round of this 3-4 set, the grand final round of Nation versus Nation. Unbelievable round again, Jazza. Exactly what we came to expect from Team Expensive Healthcare. They are here to throw down. They can see that $2,000 US that is in their sights. They are not going to slow down. They are going to make sure that they do everything they can to take that home. But can I just say, we mentioned it earlier, you know, Team Sicario are at a bit of a disadvantage here because Splinter is playing from the West Coast. He unfortunately was not able to make it over to the East Coast for these final rounds. But Team Sicario have been able to work around that. They understand, you know, how long he'll be able to come into the raid for, how long he'll stay in the round before having to reconnect again, and they've been able to time it so that he can make a move from one point to the next. And we saw him actually able to get the drop on Nick there, which actually gave Yo-Yo a fighting chance because it turned it into a 2v1. And I know anyone who has played Tarkov for any period of time, 2v1 is not an impossible ask, even against players of this caliber. You know, if you're able to turn that 2v1 into like two lots of a 1v1, that's much more achievable. And if there is any player that could do that, it is definitely someone like Yo-Yo. Any takeaways, Shazza?
No, look, given the circumstances, I think they played that the best that they could. Again, both of these teams are very, very competent players on labs. They can run solo, and you could see that Yo-Yo wasn't getting phased. He's been in those situations on line raids multiple times, I'm sure. He's got the time, he's got the experience. Unfortunately, he didn't pay off with the trade. So we saw them coming down with the only one person left remaining, and good effort by Sicario.
Realistically, it was like they went 2v4 and managed to bring it down to almost a 1v1. So again, fantastic effort. But we did see that early cross from Jip, pushing over to the Dark Officers and managing to shoot Arden and Freddy in the back. Of course, Arden and Freddy, definitely two very, very established CQB players, especially on labs. They also had those big LMGs on board. They were ready to put down some pain. The fact that we saw Sicario roll back from that two-player down situation right off the rip, right at the very start of the round, makes me a bit excited for what we're going to see in round 2, because there is a good chance that they will not fall for that rotation again, especially with the fact that these spawns will swap over. So we will see Team Sicario starting from the kitchen spawn, and of course expensive healthcare will be going over to the parking stairs to start from there, meaning that the rotations will be different. I think it will be interesting to see if they pass that early push across the middle again. We might see a Jip or a Nick running up the yellow stairs and trying to counter any push, any early cross from Team Sicario.
It's actually quite interesting. I don't actually think I saw anybody rolling with an optic. They're all chosen for the CQB, and they want to get up close and personal. But we saw how useful an optic on labs can be, especially with that early pick. If you manage to get that line, you can get an easy head tap on the cross.
Really good point. The other thing as well is, if you're at the point where you need to try and retake the cargo elevator, someone who is holding it or a team that have bedded in, you can actually get some very, very long angles across the blue tents. And to do that, you really need to have that bolt action with that really long range scope on it. And not only that, it gives you some opportunities even pushing out of the blue stairs. There are some cheeky angles there where you can kind of tap through a box, and we're obviously opting to not do that with our players going in with the LMGs, with the SA58s. Again, huge crowd favorite for all of our teams here, wanting to run those full auto 308 guns as we cut back over to our players now.
I'm in the spawn, am I not?
They're in spawn. We are popping all of the painkillers, all of the super waters, all the MREs, the pineapple juice, the hard energies, max energies. Where I got a hard energy from, I've just made my own energy drink there, Jazza.
Your new streamer item, maybe.
Nikita, please.
Okay.
I will say I am loving the approach of the double stack helmets. We can see Arden opting to start off with the Reese T on this time. He does have the Comtac and the Bastion with the slap plate. Huge favorite for all of our players. It is definitely the meta helmet, I think, that Bastion. Probably explains why they're so expensive, and I always send them to the trader every time I find one.
Yeah, absolutely. That level 5 slap plate, level 6.
Oh, you're getting me on this now. Actually, I think it's level 5. If that's not correct, I'm sure someone will have the right information.
Yeah, but it does come in, and it does help incredibly, particularly. And we saw yesterday, helmets do save lives, guys. We saw it yesterday. We saw a helmet bounce around of M61 on custom.
Precisely, that was a shot from Team Korea, Prey, their sniper player, bouncing a shot off the head of Canador, who we see here today playing for expensive healthcare, inlaid on the left-hand side.
Always wear your helmet, ladies. Always wear your helmet.
I'm still notoriously bad for that, Jazza. I just see helmets as a free 50 or 60k to a vendor.
All about that ruble life, afraid.
Ruble number must go up.
But yeah, by the way, just for future reference. If you have it out. Just for future reference, that guy.
Yeah, we can hear the teams. They're just.
He was on the bottom part of the staircase, and the other guy was behind them.
Seems to be a little bit of confusion within Team USA.
They're trying to. It sounds to me like they are trying to dissect the strategy that Team Sicario used. Seems a little bit uncertain about where Yo-Yo had taken shots at him from. He was saying that he was down the stairs when in fact Yo-Yo was actually above him.
I don't think I'm gonna be here if I play the DC again, but
well,
these two.
I might do too.
And again, we can hear the good sportsmanship coming from Splinter. They're having a rough time with the disconnections. However, they are having a laugh. They want to have fun. They're in there, and it's good. Good that they're not letting the pressure get to.
Absolutely. And look, while this is a competition, right? It's a game. We're all here to have a good time, and we're seeing that all of our players are having a bit of fun with it. Freddy moving immediately across the center, nades out towards those yellow stairs. He's expecting that early aggressive push. Nades come back from Nick. I'm hearing that we've had a double DC from our Team Sicario members. Team Expensive Healthcare have not pushed the early cross that we can see here. Nick slowly moving through, listening for any audio, seeing if he can get a pick, getting shots down through the center underneath the manager's office. Is able to stick the kill, taking down Freddie Smalls there. Yo-Yo breaking out that big PKP, putting on the hurt down that hallway. What a lovely sound. You see Makito wanting to take a bit of a peek out there and they go, oh, yep, no, that's not for me. I'm not about that life.
No, that's a very, very, very ill-advised strategy to try and peek out when you've got that PKP letting it fly.
We've also just seen Yo-Yo go down, hearing the get off that right-hand soldier from the in-game lead, Jip of Team Expensive Healthcare.
I'm dead, yeah.
Splinter putting down shots now.
Jip has gone down. Nick breaking out that sniper, but taking heavy thorax damage. Splinter has DC'd again. As we cut back over to Arden, he has the PKP out, coming through the back of Freezer. Shifting over to the Fel. The Reese T is there. He knows that he is safe crossing. He is seeing Speed in front of him there.
Unfortunately, Splinter not being able to lie down before the disconnection occurred, unfortunately. So he's in a really exposed spot right now.
But he was able to take out Jip before disconnecting there. Arden just has to hang around, get Splinter back into the raid, and then they know that they have around 30 seconds to put some pressure onto Gunner. Gunner is, of course, holding that approach across the top cargo elevator. Maquito is bedded in closer to the back bathroom section.
Like, is swiped green, like in the green?
Yeah, and we see Arden, he's playing Overwatch right now, just over Splinter, as he's trying to reconnect. So Arden knows that in order for this to go their way, he's going to need Splinter's backup. So he needs to protect Splinter while he's loading back into the raid, and then make the most of that 30-second time frame.
Pulling the optic off that PKP, he doesn't need it where he's going. Also, I can see a cheeky cultist knife there up the top. Arden is running in with a cultist knife.
We have 4 minutes. Take your time.
Interesting strategy. Let's see if it pays off for him, Cotton.
He's definitely playing the long game with that one, and I don't know how it'll go with the fact that these are offline lobbies. Any pain, death, equipment loss will not persist. They are able to jump straight back in and get into the next round. Arden moving across the front of green, looking to get any information from down the hall. Into DCing again. Arden peeking down the corridor.
Sorry, I confirm.
I'm not sure what he was trying to do there. I don't think he'd be able to do a full auto spray while standing with that big PKP. And I don't think he's going to. He's got the lay down there to try and reduce as much recoil as he can. I am thinking we're going to see Splinter coming back in. Arden laying down some hate with that big PKP as some covering fire, giving Splinter some time to push in and try and take out Gunner, who is holed up in the right-hand side. You can see the open door there. Arden would not know that Gunner is tucked in just on one of the little medical beds that they're in that room. And we did see someone from Team The Nest in the regional qualifiers tried to do that hold, but wasn't able to stick it because these players, they know that spot. They've checked it before.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nick has moved down into the basement. He's watching that timer. Remember, after 7 minutes, he can hit that button. They can call that elevator. Splinter going down to Gunner, who was holding in behind. We can see his little cheeky spot there. He was able to see through that little slit in the door and was able to take out Splinter.
He's proned out.
Okay, so now we've got another 2v1 situation at the moment. Arden, he's got that big PKB. He's ready to lay down some suppressive fire.
But I think this is actually a 3v1 because we also have Maquito holding the bathroom around the back, using the smoke grenade there to try and press.
And you can see the recoil, how punishing the recoil is on that PKB. Arden taking it down.
It's alright.
Gunner has gone down. Maquito making the push. Remember, Nick is still in the basement level. Are they going to prioritize getting that button hit and trying to take the extract? A 2v1 scenario. This is something Arden can work with.
So I can hit it now. Am I hit again?
What time is it? Is it 20?
21.
No, 20, Nick.
Oh,
20.
Oh, I thought it was 22.
We see here a little bit of confusion around the timing, making sure that they're not going to push the button too early.
That's right. So there is still time here, but not too much time. Arden taking a moment to put his arm and his leg back on to make sure that he is as fighting fit as he can possibly be for the final fight to come. Maquito moving into the spot that we saw Gunner taking out Splinter from,
Walk back to the other side.
opting not to stay there. I think he's wanting to kind of hold the swing if we see Arden trying to make the
Nick,
push
hit the
from
button
the
and you're
direction
gonna run
of
up
the
blue.
green room.
For the sake of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But Arden, especially with that PKP, he's going to need all of his limbs that he can get in order to be able to control that gun.
We can still see 3 grenades on board with Arden. 2 VOGs there and the F1. He can put those to work without getting pushed. That could help him keep all of these holding points suppressed.
Someone said 21. So.
Nobody said 21 or 22. I said 20 every time you
We
asked.
can definitely hear some confusion from Team Expensive Healthcare here. They don't know when they can hit that button. They're trying to work it out. We're seeing Arden taking that Reese T off, I believe, opting to go for a little bit more audio. Not a bad play. He knows that Team Expensive Healthcare will be betting themselves in, because if they are able to take the second round, they will be far more comfortable going into round 3 of our first set. Again, for everyone watching at home, these teams are duking it out for the 3rd place prize of $2,000 US, which was kindly provided to us by the team at Battle State Games.
So 15 seconds. Smack
Not a bad amount for an afternoon of Tarky.
I certainly wouldn't be complaining, but I can tell you now, I guaranteed watching these people play, I would have already been returned to the lobby. I would be crying into my beer at this point.
Go now.
You can hear.
No, wait for Nick to get up. Just hold your angle.
Button has been pressed.
Left side.
He's heard the announcement there. He's pushing back up the top. He knows that they will be running a split right now. He knows how many players are down. He knows that if he is able to take out Maquito before Nick is able to get back up, there is a chance that he will be able to take that elevator. He's heard the doors open.
That's coming.
We can hear the stairs. Nick, Arden not realizing that they're together. He thought it was Maquito. Arden putting the pain down. We're going down.
Oh, nice.
Doesn't matter. Nice. Doesn't matter.
Whoa.
Wow.
What?
Nick, you
I do not know what to say there. Jazza.
That timing there.
I said
Please.
shoot him.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. I'm shaking right now watching that at the end. That was absolutely wild. It goes to show, if you can get into that 2v1 situation, that little bit of confusion, because obviously Maquito must not have heard Arden push out of the blue stairs.
No, and I think that, however, that timed push up onto Arden, distracting him long enough so Maquito could get into the elevator and close those doors, that was...
I really thought they were going to claw it back. Like, it was so close. Seeing Nick come out the moment he was not shooting at Arden, I was just like, Arden, mate, come on, turn around. Let's see a clutch. We want to go into round 3, 1v1. We want this to be down to the absolute last second. We want them to be juking it out to the end. But what an effort by Expensive Healthcare. They were able to get the picks. They were able to turn it into another 2v1 situation. But wow, I don't even know what to say there. I think it will be very interesting to see how our teams are going to rally, how their strategies will change as we go into the 3rd of 4 rounds in this set 1 of the Nation versus Nation Pacific League Grand Final rounds. Okay, I'm hearing we will be back after this short break in around 3 minutes. Grab a drink and we will see you soon. Hello and welcome back to the Nation versus Nation Pacific League Grand Final rounds. We're currently watching the matchup between Team Expensive Healthcare of the United States, matching it up against Team Sicario of the Oceanic region. Both of these teams duking it out for the 3rd place position of this league, so that they will be taking home $2,000 US. We've just watched some pretty spicy raids between our 2 PvP Labs main teams, right? Jazza, unbelievable games so far. It's been down to the absolute wire in both games. What's been the highlight for you?
The highlight at the moment is definitely the PKP coming out, laying down that serial figure suppressive fire, being able to have a little bit of fun with it. But we can see that, regardless of the handicap that Sicario have, they keep coming back, and it's been, as you said, down to the wire. Both grades ending up with only one player left alive. It's
well, exactly right. That second round we just saw there, Arden getting the kill on Nick as McQuido was trying to move over to the cargo elevator. It was like literally, it could not have been any closer at that stage. I genuinely thought we were going to see Arden clutch that round and give the win to Team Sicario, but
certainly looked that way.
And I will say, I actually had a message on Discord this morning from Arden saying, if we get labs, this is the kit that I'm running. And he'd sent me a photo of that big PKP with a bunch of those 100-round box mags sitting in there as well. And I showed it to you and I was like, surely not. Surely this is not going to happen. Are they going to do the big suppressive fire? Is this their strategy? Are they going to just get 4 of those, like singing their 762 by 54R song down the laboratory? I can speak, I promise. Laboratory always, but that's what they've done. They have been able to lay down, they've been able to put down the hate, they've managed to keep expensive healthcare well and truly suppressed, hiding in around the cargo elevators, but they've also been able to whip out those spells, the big full auto 308 guns, and put them to great use. Again, objectives haven't been the focus. I still feel like both of our teams want to prioritize PvP.
Yeah, out of all the matches that we've been able to watch, I think that's probably the first time that I almost saw the objective come into play. We've experienced it on Customs yesterday. That grenade launcher, it stayed exactly where it was. No one was interested in it. They wanted to get that PvP action in. So it's interesting to see. I'm very intrigued to see what Team Sicario do to try and get back this third round.
I think it'll be very interesting because remember, we rotate the spawns for each of these matches. So going into the third round of this first set will mean that we will see the Team Expensive Healthcare of the US starting off from spawn point A in the kitchen, right? So we saw a very aggressive push from all 4 players on that team over to where Team Sicario were going to be running out of those parking stairs. And we saw Jip being able to take out Arden and Freddy with an early spray from up the top of the dark offices. We can see inlaid at the moment the spawn point that we will have our Team Sicario players moving from. I'm actually expecting, if I was a betting man, I will be thinking that someone like Freddy or someone like Arden will actually be doing an early push up the yellow stairs to try and counter that cross from Jip. Again, I feel like that is definitely the play because you kind of need to slow them down. If they allow Expensive Healthcare to get that early pick, to make that cross, they're on the back foot straight away because they have been able to prioritize holding that cargo elevator in all of these rounds so far. That being said, Jazza, I don't know if you saw what Nick did at the start of the previous round as well. While Jip was doing the cross, he threw a VOG straight down towards that parking button. Or it wasn't parking button, the yellow stairs. So, I don't know. What are you thinking? What are we going to see here?
The pressure is definitely on for Team Sicario. Expensive Healthcare have played a really, really solid game, and we could see that when they went up against the Nest last week as well. They are very confident on labs. Right now, with it being 2-0, all Expensive Healthcare need to do is go for a draw, and they're in the bag. They're in the money.
Exactly, and that's it. They will be taking home that $2,000 US, which ultimately, this is what it's all come down to. This is day 4, of course, of the Pacific League. This is what they've all been working towards, weeks and weeks of practice, weeks and weeks of going through their strategies, agreeing their loadouts, and ultimately it's all come to this moment. As we cut back over with our players now, as they are moving over to their spawn points, getting ready to pop all of those stimulants and super waters and moonshines and everything else. Still, Jazza, I've said this before, it tickles me pink seeing someone chugging down a moonshine and a super water in one raid. Like, it's unbelievable.
Got to stay hydrated.
Definitely. You're not going to be dehydrated after. Because what are those super waters? Are they a 20-liter jug?
20-liter jug.
That
I believe,
is.
yes.
I don't know about you, but I don't think I can drink 20 liters in one go. Especially, and then washing it down with a bit of hooch, a bit of the moonshine as well. And I'll be running out there, and I'd probably be vomiting through the vomiting all over the lab.
But yeah, no, again, you need to have those benefits though. These players are all elite skills. They got the elite endurance, the elite health, strength, everything. Being able to get those little additional perks provided by these food products and these drinks and everything can make a very slight but pivotal difference for each of these PMCs.
Yeah, absolutely. The only negative effect, I believe, is on the moonshine, which only reduces your attention. But they're not looting here, guys. They're going in for the PvP. They want to get every single ounce of strength and endurance that they can out of their PMCs in order to be able to give themselves that better advantage.
I'm a half minute.
Okay. Actually, Ham, where are you going?
These guys just get 4 man collapse on now.
Yep.
So we've been looking at the player profiles here. I love seeing the loadouts and everything that they have. And I've just noticed we didn't see Freddie Smalls was not wearing a tracksuit yesterday, was he, Jazza?
No, he wasn't. No, he was in his standard gear, I believe, or his standard outfit. Is that new?
I am hearing that this is something that he did not want to be the odd one out. Obviously, we see Arden in there rocking the tracksuit, rocking that golden brooch, and Freddie went home last night because remember we are all in Melbourne right now for PAX Australia, which is why we are currently casting from Fortress Melbourne. But Freddie went home last night to get 5 more killer kills so that he could wear his tracksuit today. Now, if that isn't dedication to the drip, I don't know what is.
Knowing Freddie, he wants to rep it. He knows that he's got the skills and he wants to show it off as well.
And what a vibe that is. It is certainly a good look that he's got going on there.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, if they are gonna go blue,
Big juice cannon. Freddie's rocking
see
there.
Gunner here. He's getting ready. He's getting up that inertia, getting ready to run straight through the door.
We've just seen an early cross from Freddie, actually opting to move up the parking stairs, looking for Jip on that rotation. Yo-yo time, moving over to the yellow stairs. Arden is out there, puts the paint onto Jip, but gets flicked on.
both of them.
And then we're hearing that Jip has just taken out Arden and Yo-yo. Heavy damage though, no arm, thorax, stomach. He does go down. Freddie going down in the trade. I think we're in a 3v1 scenario right now, if I'm not mistaken. We see Nick running there, Gunner.
Me and Mac have control.
And Splinter has reconnected. This is going to be, I think this is going to be a bit of a wash for Team Sicario. Splinter, of course, playing from over on the west coast of Australia. He is only able to stay in game for about 30 seconds at a time. And we've just seen him get taken out on the stairs. That is our round done. 3 rounds, 2 Team Expensive Healthcare as they all turn on each other in celebration. They know they've done it. 3 rounds here on the laboratory. They will be walking away with the 3rd place prize.
So ready for it, bro.
Now, again, very, very unfortunate for Team Sicario, not able to secure the win there, but they had fun. You could see they were enjoying it. They came in, they had their tracksuits, they had their PKPs, they had a bit of we saw them changing up their strategies, having a bit of fun. Now, this means that we are going into, we will still run the 4th round in this set. So we will still be pitching Expensive Healthcare against Sicario for 1 more round. They know that it's done. They can have fun with this one. I cannot wait to see what the personalities of Team Sicario are going to pull out for this final round. Jazza.
We might see that cultist knife come into play. We might see Arden. He might be trying to do an Assassin's Creed cosplay into labs. So we'll have to wait and see.
I would love to see that. I just want to see some stalking. We to see like a bit of maybe a gear loadout change here. Get out the Zraichi mask and start hunting with that cultist knife. That would be pretty cool. But oh look, what a huge upset that round was. You know, we saw Team Sicario, they changed up their strategy. They know every single round so far, Expensive Healthcare have played super aggressively. They've done that early cross. We saw them almost catch Jip with his pants down as he did the jump up, getting ready to get shots onto Sicario if they did try and do that early push across underneath the Dark Officers, if they wanted to prioritize holding the cargo elevator. But ultimately, they couldn't make it stick. You know, Jip is an absolute gamer. He was able to flick on both Arden and Freddie as they came to immediately turn it into a 4v2 scenario. Yo-Yo going down shortly after as he attempted to fight Nick. But ultimately, Splinter reloaded in, had to get his bearings. knew his team were all down, was trying to just get to the middle to try and put that pressure onto Jip. Ran around the corner, ran into the stairs, and it was game over for Team Sicario. Very, very unfortunate. But again, I'm really hopeful that they will jump into this, put on a show for us in the 4th round. Any takeaways from that 3rd round? I feel like it was all over so quickly there, Jazza.
Yeah, they got a bit steamrolled on that one. They did switch up the strategy there, and unfortunately, as you said, Jip just absolutely demolished 2 early kills, and then that just set the tone for the rest of it. And Maquito as well. He knew that there was only one player alive. They had to have known that it would have been Splinter at the back. So he's just immediately started pushing that spawn for that kill.
And you hear just how coordinated these teams are. The call-outs from Jip, the in-game lead for Team Expensive Healthcare, yelling out 2 players down. They've done an early push. And immediately we saw Gunner, we saw Maquito, we saw Nick. They stopped doing their push across over underneath the manager's office, and they immediately came back to support their team. And that paid off for them. They were able to go, I think it was, 4-0 in the end, in terms of players still standing. It was just a clean sweep through the Team Sicario boys.
Yeah, flawless victory there. Healthcare.
So remember, this is the first set for today. There will be another one, which will be our grand final round featuring Team Golden Tooth of Korea. Of course, they were able to take the victory over Expensive Healthcare, who have just taken 3rd position in this event. They will be going up against Team Never Stop of China. Again, pushing for those 1 and 2 positions. The winner, of course, will be walking away with $5,000. The 2nd place with $3,000 as part of the $10,000 prize pool put together by the team at Battle State Games. So a big thank you to BSG for making all of this possible. And here we are about to have the players. They are still going through the load into the raid. Again, these are being played on offline co-op servers. We have found a few servers that allow all of our teams to connect. Obviously, Splinter from Team Sicario having a few issues because he was unfortunately not able to join us here in Melbourne today to be able to play with that nice ping onto those NA West servers. He is connecting from over Perth. For those that don't know Australia, it is basically the difference between New York and Los Angeles. They are a long, long way apart. So he is unfortunately just over that ping threshold that we do have on these offline co-op lobbies. But you know what? They've made it work. We've seen Splinter walk away with quite a few kills already. He is not just here as a seat filler. He is still being put to great effect, jumping in and being able to get a couple of the Team Expensive Healthcare players by surprise because, you don't expect someone to come in super late, doing that 2-3 minutes into the raid. And all of a sudden you've got a Sicario player just popping out from the spawn again.
It's that strategic late push there, afraid.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we're hearing our players have deployed into the raid, are making their way over to their spawn locations. Same locations that we saw them starting from in round 2. We have Team Sicario at spawn B in the kitchen. We have Team Expensive Healthcare over on the stairs underneath the parking button. And I'm really excited to see what they do here. We can see all the usual routine they do at the start, popping those super waters, popping their stimulants, drinking that moonshine. Plenty of morphines on board as well, because again, Jazza, remember, they don't count as a stimulant. They are only a painkiller.
Absolutely. It's still interesting. I mentioned this earlier, but no optic for any player on the map right now. There's no long-range optic. They're all pushing through with their CQB.
That's a really good point. We did see Nick running that DVL earlier, but it's now looking like he has opted for an M1A backed up by the SA-58, the FAL, the gun of choice for the Nation versus Nation specifically.
Seems to be a very popular.
Oh, it is. I mean, those big 308 rounds, M61, M993, the time to kill is just absolutely wild. We see Jip standing up on the gas canisters there, giving the team a pep talk, telling them what he expects.
Oh, there's the optic.
There you go. Maquito. He's taken over as the sniper player for this one.
Like,
Are we
he
gonna get
sniped you
trouble
by
for
accident, bro.
Ah,
I was
we can do whatever we
palming, and
want.
you run underneath. That's pretty much what I'm thinking of doing.
Should we just play around?
You can hear they are coming up with new strategies on the fly, Jazza. I think we're going to see something interesting. I'm wondering if they will do a reverse rotate out of their spawn around the sky bridge and go around that way. That would be something that we've never seen before. And if you're going to try it, now's the time.
Well, and Team Expensive Healthcare, they are not a stranger to the long rotate. Jip, we saw taking that massive rotation on customs yesterday.
That was absolutely wild. Of course, popping the SJ as the sniper player, starting off at old gas on the customs mode 1, and then he rotated all the way around through construction, jumping up onto the onto those big fuel containers there and trying to get long shots over the top of the fortress.
And it almost paid off for them as well. He got some really good intel from that really long rotation. So
it did. I mean, they got some nades down and were able to take out a few players. Our players are, of course, now moving out of their spawns. Freddy does the immediate cut over towards Cats. Is he going to try and get in behind Nick and Gunner? Is he going to try and run with them? Are we going to see a cultist knife? Are we going to see a melee kill here?
One dead. Nade in front.
Jip taking one out there, calling the nade. Everyone dives away from that grenade. Arden has gone down. Freddy has also gone down. Team Expensive Healthcare doing what they do best, PvPing on the lab.
yeah,
Yo-Yo is still up. Splinter is also still up, currently reconnecting into the raid. We see Jip, I think, shooting Gunador.
I think we saw a little bit of a cheeky
friendly
tap
fire there, yeah. You know, they're having a bit of a muck around. Oh, Gunner has gone over and found Splinter in spawn, which means it is now a
What did I kill you? Was that you?
Keto going down to Yo-Yo. It is a 3v1. This is a situation that, you know, is not great for Yo-Yo, but I don't think he would have it any other way.
I mean, you can see Yo-Yo is very comfortable. He is in his prime right
Look
now.
at this man taking out Gunner. Yo-Yo, what an absolute player. I'm hearing that he has taken out all 4 players of Expensive Healthcare, clutching that 4th and final round in a 1v4 situation. Unbelievable. My voice is cracking. I just cannot believe it.
On that last one.
We're not going to play for objective, are we? Surely not.
No, play the map, man.
No, I mean the other guy.
End the game. Wipe out.
I don't think Yo-Yo knows that he's actually killed everyone in the raid.
I would have got.
He's just.
Good job, guys.
They've just been notified. Yo-Yo has to be over the moon.
Wait, who got one? Who got one?
Team killed.
Amazing effort by Yo-Yo. You can see how quickly Yo-Yo was rotating. He was up and down those stairs. He was making sure that his positions were always changing, keeping them guessing. And he ended up catching them with their pants down.
He did an amazing job. If there was going to be a highlight reel for NvN, that is going to be the #1 clip. That will be the preview that you get on YouTube before you get to actually watch the overall video. That was what an amazing play by Yo-Yo, you know, turning that around. We really thought that it was going to be another clean sweep by Team Expensive Healthcare, but no, Yo-Yo was like, it's okay, you know, it's fine. You guys have already taken the round win for, you know, taking the first 3 matches, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to try and make sure that we at least get 1 in the scorecard. And he did that. That was absolutely fantastic. What a brilliant, brilliant play by Yo-Yo. Same thing that we saw in the solo competition earlier in the year where he did take the win there. He's not scared of a fight. That's what he's here for. And certainly putting on his best. We will be going to a short break as we get ready for the grand final set, the top 1-2 spots between Team Korea and Team China. I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, NvN, for helping us out with production. If you're looking for a Discord bot that is able to protect your community, weed out cheaters, weed out people with ulterior motives or, you know, that are up to a bit of no good, check out NvN. And of course, Battlestate Games for providing that $10,000 prize pool that we've been able to give out to our teams here today. So take some time, grab a drink, grab something to eat. We will be back soon with set 2, the lineup between Team Golden Tooth of Korea and Team Never Stop of China. Hello and welcome back to the Nation versus Nation Pacific League Grand Final rounds. So we have just come off the back of watching Team Expensive Healthcare of the US taking the win over Team Sicario of the Oceanic region, meaning that they have taken the third place prize of $2,000 home from this NvN match. Now, Jazza, we're not done yet, are we? We are finally at that point. You know, the weeks and months and all the practice, all the scrims, all the strategizing, all of the things that these teams have had to go through to get to this point is all ultimately coming together now. This is the grand final match, the final lineup between Team Golden Tooth of Korea, Team Never Stop of China will be duking it out for the top spot, the championship, the crown of the Nation versus Nation Pacific League. The winner will be walking away with $5,000. The team running up will walk away with $3,000. So both of these teams, they are well and truly into the money. They are now just duking it out for that top spot. The bragging rights of saying that they were the 2023 Pacific League champions. Now, Jazza, I'm hearing that this matchup will actually be on Labs again.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's definitely going to be an interesting match to see, as particularly with the only experience that China currently have in the competition is they've only played reserve.
That's right. Yeah,
and they've gone 8 for 8. Are they going to be able to make it 12 for 12?
I think that if any team was able to do it, that Team Never Stop would be able to. Now, Federico, super strong PvP player, the in-game lead for that team. They will, however, need to adhere to some rules. Jazza.
So, as usual, 1 sniper rifle per team. All other guns need to have a hollow or a 1x optic. 1 stimulant per player, Propadol, Trimadol, SJ6, whatever they get to choose, only 1. However, morphine is the exception, as it does only give you a PK effect, so they can have as many morphines as they want on their persons. 4 throwables per player. How to win? Easy. Clap the other team. Or complete the map objective, which heading down to G switch and getting out through cargo elevator after the 7-minute timer. Restrictions, of course, no 338 ammo, no KS-23s, no grid launchers, no impact grenades, and no enhanced gear.
Now, of course, Team Korea, Golden Tooth, led by Diplo, supported by Cookbub, Mikus, Prey, with subs in there, Ilsan and Wild, who will not be playing today. China's Team Never Stop, the team lead, Federico, supported by CG, Yumo, I'm going to try and pronounce it this time, Jazza, and of course, AA Lu. So again, we are going back to Labs, Game Mode 2. We've just seen this between the US and the OCE team. We are going back there again. Both of our teams will have a spawn on the admin end of the Labs. Spawn point A, of course, being the stairwell underneath the parking button. Spawn point B will take our players over to the back of the kitchen. The teams will be starting in there, doing their pre-game, doing their preps, popping their stims, drinking the super waters, drinking the moonshine, all that good stuff. The moment that timer hits the 27-minute mark, they will both leave their spawns. They have the opportunity to do an immediate cross and duke it out at the start, which is what we saw a lot of in the set just gone between the US and OCE teams. Or they can move across to the medical end of the lab, go down into the basement, wait for that timer to run down, hit that G switch, and then run up the blue stairs and extract at the elevator to take the round win. Now, I'm hearing we are going to cut over to our players in just a moment as they move out to their starting locations and go through their pre-game rituals. So we can see Team Never Stop of China will be starting off at the parking button spawn, and Team Golden Tooth of Korea starting off at that kitchen spawn. Now, Jazza, I have seen a lot of really aggressive plays from the Korean team. I'm actually thinking that they are going to go into this by doing that early cross, very similar to what we saw from Team Expensive Healthcare. What are you expecting?
Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine that it would be very, very similar to what we've seen. However,
아니면 똑밥을 1선으로 보내잖아.
CJ, how he plays on this map. We saw how
이게 나는 상관없어.
But let's see if he can convert that into the lab's gameplay.
They know that, you know, this is not a game mode where you can take your time. You need to be able to either move quickly to seize the objective and try and repel the opposing team, or you need to commit to doing that early rotate and try and just beat them in a PvP CQB showdown. And I think that if you want to get through and if they want to take the crown, the team that is able to rotate between both of those different strategies, the aggressive early push or the later, longer play, is the only way you're going to be able to actually win. Like, if you want to take home that $5,000 prize pool, you need to be flexible. You need to be willing to adapt to whatever the opposing team is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see all the teams getting ready here, this is going to be one hell of a showdown. I'm really looking forward to this.
I'm seeing a lot of tracksuits in this group, especially on Team Never Stop.
Maybe that's why Freddie put in the last minute grind. He wanted to be part of the crew.
All the cool kids have tracksuit. Remember that, Jazza? This is my way of coping, trying to get everyone to come back to Interchange, because despite how it's been for loot and PvP for the last few years, I will continue to huff that copium and try and encourage people to go back there and, and fight it out like it was back in 2020.
Yes, your relationship with Interchange is a never-breaking bond.
Yeah, borderline abusive, some might say. Our players have now left their extracts. We see an early cross from Team Never Stop running over towards Arcing Elbow. Yumo doing the cross, looking to counter any early aggression from Team Golden Tooth. We're not hearing anything at the moment. Checking out across the front of the... shots going down at the front of the manager's office. You see showing some support up there. Yumo has taken heavy damage, seeing that red thorax there, cutting back over to Team Golden Tooth. They've managed to repel that early push. They seem to be doing more of a timed, slower approach than I guess what we've seen from Team Expensive Healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot less aggressive this time around, but there is a lot more on the line for these guys.
Prey and Cookbab going down. You saw they were moving over there towards that cargo elevator. AA Lu have prioritized holding that spot. You can see the two bodies on the other side of that door from him. They now have cargo elevator. We can see Federico with that foul. He is an absolute demon with that gun. He is down in the basement. He's going to prioritize getting to that G button, because he knows that if he can get that while the rest of his team are holding the cargo elevator, they will get the win for this round.
Absolutely. So we currently have a 4v2 situation right now. Federico making sure he's clearing his corners, getting into that G-switch room, and allowing the time for the rest of his team to be able to position themselves accordingly, making sure that they can play that objective if they need to.
People are moving very slowly in over there. I wonder what has he heard somebody? Is he on the hunt? Is he expecting someone to rotate through here?
It's interesting. So he doesn't want to give any of his information. He doesn't want them to know where he is, especially being 2 players down very early in the raid.
That is a very strange play from Team Golden Tooth. We see even Mikas here, bottom right-hand screen. He is currently on the admin and main switch end of the basement. So he is not anywhere near that G switch, which is their first objective, right? He has to go down that metal hallway to get to the other side. And that is where Yumo and Federico are currently waiting. Yumo covering those blue stairs as early warning. Federico is currently posted up in the G button. CG roaming around in the middle there.
It's very interesting. It's going to make it very hard for Mickey to be able to get up that corridor with how much volume and how much noise you make, even when you're crouching down and you're creeping. So...
Well, not just that, it's also a very long push. Like, that is a long distance, Shazza. And the thing is, they can't go slow. They know they can't go slow. There is a limit to the amount of time that they can actually play in these rounds. If they do not get in there before that 7-minute mark, if they cannot basically kick Federico, kick Yumo out of those out of that G button room, if they cannot reclaim that cargo elevator before the 7-minute mark, they're out. Basically, the round is a write-off for them. They are going to need to play this aggressively.
Is it potentially too much to say that they may be pushing for the draw here? They've got themselves at a disadvantage. It's a 4v2. They may push for a draw and try and level out the playing field.
That is an interesting strategy, one that we haven't seen so far, but that would still require one of those objectives. If they allow Team China to not only hold the G button, but to also get the cargo elevator, ultimately they are handing them the win. They cannot just be elusive. They cannot hide from Team Never Stop. They need to make sure that they at least hold an objective and run that timer to 0. Now, again, after that 7-minute mark, our teams will be able to hit the G button and they will be able to extract a cargo for the round win. But there is also a limit, and I believe it's only a few minutes after that before the round is called off, and it is marked as a draw between them both.
Yeah, we see Federico here being very patient.
Dip Blue on the rotation. I think he's still over on the... He is still on the main side of the basement. He is nowhere near where he needs to be. He knows that he needs to get across to the other side very quickly. Are we going to see a charge up the middle? Are we going to see him trying to move up that middle hallway, knowing full well that Federico will be able to hear him approach? That spot where he's tucked up there does get fairly decent audio onto that middle hallway. The timer is running out. Team Korea.
Yeah, putting some extra pressure on themselves right here.
Blue still holding that cargo elevator though. All it takes is for Federico to jump down from that spot, run across, hit that button. Dip Blue, of course, also in the basement, moving up the center, slowing down as he runs over the middle stairs. Not trying to give too much away here. They are probably going to try and secure that G button. They will then need to try and make it a 2v2 or a 2v1 scenario for them to have an opportunity to claw back this round.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of money on the line here, guys. Remembering that first place will take the $5,000 US prize pool, with second place coming in at $3,000 mark. So these guys know what's on the line.
Not a small amount of money. I can tell you now, I'd have a few things that I could happily spend $5,000 US on. Yeah, Blue making the slow approach down the further middle hallway. Mika's currently tucked in the corner here. Is he trying to hear what he can hear? They know they only have, I believe, another minute before they can hit that button and make the play up to the cargo elevator to take the win.
Yeah, absolutely. We did hear some deliberation from Expensive Healthcare last match with when they can hit that switch. So it is, I believe, at the 20-minute mark that they are able to hit the switch.
That's right. So just over 45 seconds, and Federico will be able to jump down, hit that button, meaning that Lou will be able to run over, call the elevator, and ultimately extract. Now, remember, this is still a 4v2 scenario where the advantage is in Team Never Stop's favor. You see Federico moving over to the button now, getting that door open. The moment that counter hits 20 minutes, he's going to hit that button, and you can guarantee that there will be a move from Lou to hit the cargo elevator. Dip Blue is now through. He is over on the G end. Maybe he will be trying to catch Federico out after hitting the button. He doesn't know if they're holding cargo. They don't have enough players up to have that information. But he does know the Team Never Stop will be prioritizing both of our objectives. Federico hitting the button now, which means that Lou will be springing into action any second now to hit the cargo elevator. It is 1v4. We see
Lou taking down Mickey, I believe.
I think you are right. Which means Dip Blue is now running up the blue stairs. He has a little bit of time, but he knows that Federico will be snapping at his heels any second now, and we can see it. We see the run across. He is going to push up behind him. He cannot slow down. We see the nades going out from Lou to try and suppress him in there. CG ready to support if he's needed, looking across at that cargo elevator. Dip Blue, I was mistaken. He actually came up the green stairs. You see the jump into the CG going down as he does the jump into the elevator. Ultimately, Dip Blue was taken down there, meaning that is a win for Team Never Stop of China. The first round of this final set, the grand final set of the Nation versus Nation Pacific League, has gone to Team Never Stop of China.
one step closer for Team Never Stop.
And that was exactly how I expected that first round to go. And Jazz, we've seen this here before, right? That first game, you want to try and play it out to see what is the opposing team going to do. Are they going to play it aggressively like Expensive Healthcare? Are they going to be a little bit slower? Are they going to be strategic? Are they going to try and do the early cross? Are they going to try and do a timed push? You really need to be able to figure that out, and you want to try and figure it out without giving too much away. Obviously, Team Korea put into a pretty awkward position right off the rip, losing 2 players. 2 plays in the 30 seconds were down, and then it was a 4v2 scenario. Jazz, I don't even know how do you come back from that? How do you change your style mid-raid?
Well, I think they probably played that a little bit too passive at the beginning. They took a lot of time, and it allowed Team Never Stop to be able to get into a really solid position, especially being down on a 4v2 scenario. I honestly think that they need to be a little bit more aggressive, put the pressure back onto them, push back against Team Never Stop and say, hey, no, we're not going to allow you to just dome us and run over the top of us. We're coming back at you. So I think we'll potentially see a little bit more aggression out of Golden Tooth.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, that is definitely the play here, because the fact that they were not able to push into the G button, even though they had 2 players down in the basement, ready to move in there, Federico was the only person in that room, right? He did have Yumo ready there to support at the bottom of the blue stairs if he needed to. But the only way that they were going to make that play was if they were able to secure the button and force Team Never Stop to get off the positions that they were sitting in, that they'd entrenched themselves into. They knew at that point Team Never Stop would have had players at both, meaning there was never going to be a scenario where they were going 2v4. It was very, very unlikely. Now, the fact that they took a little bit longer meant that they got forced, like their hand was forced. They knew the moment that button was hit, they had to make a play. They had to get the cargo elevator. And we saw they got rushed. They had to charge up green stairs. You saw how aggressively Dip Blue had to run up, getting shot at through the tents the entire time. Yes, he was able to take a couple of players with him, but ultimately it cost them the win. I think the fact that they were so slow coming over from the main side of the basement cost them that round.
Absolutely. A very reactive type of gameplay there. You need to really be proactive here. You need to make the call. You need to be able to force your enemy or your opponent to where you want them to be. You can't give them time. You need to keep pressure on, especially a team like Never Stop. You always want to apply that pressure. And we could see that yesterday, even with Team Sicario going up against Never Stop. Sicario, they put on the pressure, and we saw a change in the play style from Never Stop.
That's right. I mean, they're all very, very capable players, but like anything, this is a team-based game. If you are able to take out a few players, or if you're able to take a raid win, ultimately it rattles them. It puts it reminds everyone that we're all mortal in Tarkov. All it takes is for one bullet to land the right way, and you're out of that round, and it could be enough to actually turn around the outcome. Ultimately, they will need to adjust. They will need to come back in and go, look, we've seen that Team Never Stop like to do that early rotate. They like to try and pick us off before we can get into our positions. They did immediately. We're seeing counters on counters on counters. We saw it in the previous one, that 4th round with Team Sicario going up against Expensive Healthcare, where they knew that there was going to be a counter over to where they were running out of the parking spawn. So they tried to counter by going up the stairs, but they'd also, Expensive Healthcare countered that by rotating back out of the kitchen. So you had a counter to a counter to a counter, because all of these teams, they're watching each other, they're learning from each other, they're realizing what the different teams like to do, and they're adjusting on the fly. You hear the in-game leads. When they're sitting in the spawn, as they're popping their painkillers, drinking their super water, drinking their moonshine, there is non-stop chatter the entire time where they're going, I saw this, this guy went here, what was he doing there? Okay, we need to send someone here, we need to do this, we need to change all of this. What is it they say, Jazza? The best laid plans go out the window the moment you have boots on ground.
Absolutely. And sometimes you do need to make it up on the fly. You saw that in the last match where we had Sicario versus Expensive Healthcare in that last raid. It was all done and dusted by that time, but you saw Yo-Yo. He was quick thinking. He was changing his positions. He was doing everything that he could to keep the other team guessing. And Tarkov is a mind game, so you've got to keep your opponents guessing.
And we saw that, Dip Blue as well. The moment he started playing aggressively, he was able to take out Yumo and everything as they were trying to get to that cargo elevator. And this is definitely what we've seen, I believe, is the Achilles heel of Team Neverstop, is that they are very, very good, accomplished players. They have very strong teamwork. We've seen them all supporting each other. No one is ever too far away from a teammate. They are ready to support each other when they need to. But when there is a team coming in playing super aggressively, going for that PvP, coming from strange places, not playing one of the strategies that they've gone up against, they tend to unravel a little bit. Now, I say that, that's probably being a little bit unkind. They definitely have not unraveled. We've seen them go for the, 9 matches now.
9 out of 9 now,
They have gone 9-4-9. But they do certainly get a little bit rattled, I think, the moment the opposing team starts playing aggressively and just relies on that mechanical skill rather than the NvN style strategies we've been seeing coming out of the recent matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as you said, doing something unexpected. We witnessed the Wee Woo yesterday on reserve, completely threw out CG, I believe. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know. He was amazed that this was actually happening. Someone had clicked that button and set off that alarm. So
immediately taking out any audio, and this is what they can do here. You can actually muck around with things that happen on the map. There is not a lot of time to get in here and actually, I guess, come up with a new strategy on the fly. You can kind of adjust ones that you have already, and sometimes being able to go in there and throw something else into the mix is enough to confuse people. I can tell you now, if this was me, I would be considering going, okay, well, I know that if I've held the G button, but they're holding the cargo elevator, maybe there's an opportunity for me to send someone over to main, hit the button there, just for that moment of confusion of, someone just hit the cargo elevator? Did someone just hit G? Can we do that? You could potentially get someone off. If they are holding that elevator, you may get someone breaking away from where they have sat themselves to go and try and hit the button. And if you are running your long-range player, your sniper player, down the end of that hallway, I mean, we saw Dip Blue take out Yumo in that round just then, as he attempted to jump across to get into the elevator. If you expose yourself down that hallway, there is a very good chance you'll be going back to the lobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the biggest thing here for Team Golden Tooth is they know that they are at the opposite spawn. So the way these work, it is a best of 4, meaning that each of our teams will have the opportunity to play out of both spawns twice. So again, there is that spawn at the kitchen where we've seen some very good aggressive plays, because it doesn't have the same advantage realistically in getting over to the cargo elevator that the spawn over underneath the parking stairs does. But it does mean that you can do that aggressive cross across the front of the manager's office. And we've seen a lot of people doing that. Running over, running through the middle, sending one player over to the yellow stairs to try and counter that push, sending one player over to managers or over to the dark office to try and get the drop on anyone doing the early push to the cargo elevator. I think that the days of the very early NvN days that we saw on this mode of just charging over to the cargo elevator, digging your heels in and going, hit the button if you want, but this is our elevator. We are not going to let you anywhere near it. They are well and truly gone. It is a standard opener for that kitchen spawn already, is to do that early cross.
Yeah, absolutely. And, switching it up may help. So as you said, playing a little bit of mind games, going for other switches. Just because the objective is set to G switch doesn't necessarily mean that you can't start flicking all the other switches.
That's it. And if you hear especially if you are down, around the basement, there are areas where you cannot hear the full announcement. So, I mean, that's some 5-dimensional chess plays right there.
Causing some confusion, and confusion leads to mistakes. Mistakes, ultimately, as we have all experienced in Tarkov, leads to death.
And, well, I mean, a perfect example. We saw that earlier with Nick pushing up the blue stairs to get to the cargo elevator. Quedo not able to call that Arden had actually moved out beforehand, meaning that Arden had time to turn around and drop Nick, and then it turned into a 1v1. Information is everything in this game. If you can do something to misdirect or to confuse the opposing team, that ultimately works in your favor. If your team are aware of what is going on and why you're doing it, that could be the difference between clutching a win or ultimately losing. Again, though, this is the grand final bracket. Both of our teams are duking it out for first and second place. We are giving away 10,000 US dollars today. The first spot, spot 3, walking away with 2,000 US dollars. Of course, is Team Expensive Healthcare of the US. This matchup, though, between Team Golden Tooth of Korea and Team Never Stop of China are duking it out for the first and second prize pools, which is 5,000 US dollars and 3,000 US dollars apiece. That is some game-changing stuff, Chazza.
Absolutely, and it's no small amount of cash, guys. The pressure is going to be on. Team Never Stop right now, they do have the 1-0 lead, so at the moment they're probably going to be feeling a little bit more relaxed at this point in time, but now the pressure is on Golden Tooth. They need to be able to get it back. They need to be able to get a win on the board, put a point up, which is something that we actually haven't seen another team do yet against Team Never Stop. We have not seen another team put up another point against them.
That is actually, yeah, spot on. Correct. They have gone all the way through into this grand final without ever actually dropping a round, which I don't think I've ever seen in NvN history at any point. So again, massive, massive effort. And I wonder if they can make it 12 for 12. Be a very, very decent effort if they did. I am hearing that our players are starting to load into the round now. We did have a little bit of a waiting for server, as you do with these offline co-op servers. You know, we are at the mercy of their availability, but they will be loading into Raid very, very shortly. And this will definitely be one to watch. We have seen a few rounds over the past few weeks where the opening Raid has been a 4v2 because one of the teams has been able to get an early pick or two. But ultimately, that never dictates the outcome, because these teams will learn quickly. I think that this round, round number 2, will be the one that would give us a very good indication of who is going to go through and take that top spot. As we cut over to our players now, as they move out to their starting locations. So we see here Team Never Stop of China running over to the kitchen spawn. All of our players in these offline lobbies, everyone is spawning together, which means that they will start off out the front of the manager's office and then have a rotate over to their starting positions. Team Golden Tooth of Korea will be going under the parking stairs. You can see our observers from the NvN team going through. They are making sure that all of our players have the right gear on. No one's running a cheeky GL. No one's turned up with a KS-23. Jazza, I know your favorite gun of all time. And making sure that all the doors are reset and closed and in the way they should be at the start of a Labs online raid.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if we did see a KS-23 on Labs, it wouldn't be a surprise. But thankfully, they have banned that particular gun because it is the kneecap destroyer, ladies and gentlemen. And we are not going to be seeing that particular gun in this gameplay.
I will say I'm a little bit thankful for that. Very interesting loadout from CG inlaid on the bottom left there. You can see he is double gunning the FAL, the M4, but also keeping a DVL in his backpack.
Yeah, he's got that backup sniper just in case in the backpack to switch over, and he's dropped the M4 now.
This might be part of their opening strategy. No, he's put it back in there and he's grabbing that M4 again. The M4, again, very, very good mid-range gun on Labs, because you often see people doing that long run, the jump peaks and everything like that. The M4 is a really, really good way of being able to track players at sort of that 40 to 50 meter mark, which on Labs, you do get those angles sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just saw quickly CG there dropping the M4, switching over the DVL so he can bolt it, make sure that his gun is ready to fire should he need to make that quick switch for the sniper.
Exactly right. And of course, the favorite for most of our players, we can see this here. There are juice cannons galore. Although Mikas running the M18, and is that am I seeing an RD? No, I believe that's actually a mutant.
47, yeah.
These old eyes are not what they used to be.
We do have the HK here from...
There we go. Yes, that is the Mark 47, the mutant with the big 40-round magazine. opting to not go for the drum mag, which is something that we've seen with other players. He must be wanting to use that ADS, and he needs that ergo to make sure that he can aim down sights as quickly as he possibly can. But still, having that 40 rounder does mean that he can hold the bang switch for a few seconds longer.
Absolutely.
As we leave the spawns, running over to the objective with Team Korea here. Door gets opened, early cross from Mikas, the rest moving over towards the elbow. Diplu has done the early cross. Mikas getting some very solid shots on, propelling that early push. Diplu, heavy damage to Mikas, one arm gone, red thorax. Diplu moving back to support his teammate. Federico, we see him in late, bottom right-hand side. He was obviously not expecting that early aggression from Team Korea. He slowed it right down as he moves around behind the dome.
This is exactly what I was saying, Afraid. So they really need to put the pressure on to never stop.
See, Cookbab also taking heavy damage, leg gone, arm gone, heavy bleed. He is moving up, checking the cargo elevator. CG laying down across. He did put shots onto that door to say, mate, don't you come out here. I want this cargo elevator. Cookbab moving up, taking a moment to stop that bleed. He won't have time to get a CMS off.
No, he's found himself in a little bit of a situation. However, AA Loot, they're sitting patiently waiting outside those stairs as well. Team Never Stop seem to have this elevator on lock.
They absolutely do, and this is what they've done, is they've been able to prioritize holding the objective there. CG and Lou, they have eyes on those blue stairs. If they've heard something there, they are definitely not going to allow anyone through. Yumo there as well. Federico, however, over near the dark offices under there, he is roaming around. He is listening to that audio. He needs to be able to convey to his team what he thinks Team Golden Tooth will be doing. You see Prey going down there, making some shots through that doorway.
Yeah, that very cheeky angle from Yumo there, being able to peek through that door in the gap. Lou getting the kill though.
That was a very, very nice shot from Lou. Very well played there. We cut back over to our Korean team. They are once again moving around the center of the map. I am wondering, are they going to prioritize taking an objective this time? You know, not moving in and either securing the button or attempting to secure the cargo elevator did cost them in round one. I am sure they will not allow that to happen to them again.
Yeah, and you getting a serve kit off, putting his life back together, as I'd like to say it, especially when I've lost a couple of limbs in the game.
And Yumo, had he took heavy damage. He lost an arm and a leg on that initial rotation over to the cargo elevator. He was jumped up behind that little medical cover there. This is a spot that we saw some pretty nasty pre-fires on from the US team last week, but it has actually paid off for them so far today.
Absolutely, and we see Diplu and Mickey's both moving through now, being as quiet as they possibly can. They do not want to give away any unnecessary information to their opponents here.
But Jazza, remember, they have 7 minutes until that button can be pressed, and you can guarantee Federico moving over towards the blue stairs right now. He is going to go down there, not realizing Diplu is 20 meters away in the next corridor across. Both of them will want to be thinking about, are we going down to the G button? Are we going to try and hold it? There's only 3 minutes, Jazza, until we can actually hit that button and they can go for that cargo elevator extract and take the win. $5,000 on the line here, by the way.
It's going to be interesting. As I said, I really think that Golden Tooth really needs to put more pressure on. They need to be a bit more aggressive here.
That's it. This lack of aggression is going to cost them the match and the top spot, because ultimately that's what they're vying for. They need to get down there. They need to secure the button, or they need to see if they can push up into the cargo elevator. I don't know how much information they have. You know, a bit of a brave peek from Diplu here, but the reality is he has 3 plays to go through. As we see the hits going off, Diplu getting those shots up there. Blue goes down.
It's a very brave peek, that left hand peek. It exposes a lot of your body, especially going up against Lou's right hand. So that was a very, very bold play.
See shots from Cookbub down onto the doorway leading out to cargo. So he is actually up one level here. He is not standing next to the cargo door. He is one level above it. We see shots from Federico. I don't know if he managed to secure the kill there.
뭐야? 나 죽었어.
Hit Blue going down. That might have been what we just saw from Federico.
저 시체 프리님이지. 뭐야?
Team Never Stop in a very good position right now. They have that cargo elevator secured. They have Federico roaming, ready to take those fights. Cookbab still in the blue stairway. He is watching that door. He knows at some point someone will need to go down and hit that G button so that they can hit the extract and take the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Cookbab here, I believe, is... I don't... Sorry, no, it is a 3v2 situation, okay.
It is. So Team Korea definitely not out of the match here. But again, they need to prioritize getting down to that basement. They have information. They know that there is a good portion of the Chinese team around that cargo elevator, which means they need to prioritize taking the secondary objective, that button, down in Sector G.
45 seconds until they are able to hit that switch and then get that elevator moving.
Now, the question here will be, do you think we will see Federico start roaming, trying to get down to that button to allow CG and Yumo to make a move into it? Or do you think that he's going to just wait there and go, look, we will run you to a draw if we need to. We know how much money's on the line. We know how much pressure. We're one round up already. You know what? This is to our advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. They've already, as you said, they've got one round up. Even if this one is a draw, then that means that they do only need to secure one more win, or they could draw out the rest of the matches.
They absolutely could. I mean, ultimately, they are a point on the scorecard up on Team Korea. Exactly what I expected to see. We see Federico moving around. He is going in and he is looking to loot more of those grenades. Remember, all of our players are limited to 4 throwables only, but there is nothing stopping you from dropping grenades for your teammates or looting people that you find dead in the raid.
We just saw Cookbab. He's still on those blue stairs. Mickey's making a slow push past green at the moment.
Interesting rotation for Federico, though. He is going to more than likely move over to that G button, but he is doing it from the main end. Looking in the spawn there, you see him stop because he's like, a lot of bags on the ground here. You know, that would give any online PMC a moment to pause. I've seen the bait bag before. I've watched the General Sam videos. I'm always a little bit panicky when I see a bag just left alone by itself.
I would be lying if I said that I haven't fallen for it once or twice.
We've all been there. Not all of us will admit it, though. Federico taking the approach down the metal hallway. Cookbab still heavy damage. Red arm, leg missing. You can see that his leg, arm, thorax, stomach all taking a small amount of damage as well. He knows that the final fight will be coming. He knows that he is going to have to make a play. We have passed the 20-minute mark, meaning that button can be pressed now.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be a hard push or whether Team Never Stop are just going to be happy with taking the draw.
Look at the way Federico is moving, Jazza.
I don't think he's happy with the draw.
He's not happy with the draw. He wants that win. He wants we want to see that 12 out of 12 from Team Never Stop. Mickey's dropping the smoke grenades. Yeah. What a clever play. Cutting off those angles, removing their ability to see him coming. Federico charging around with reckless abandon.
Prepping a nade here.
Federico's taking a moment to hear any audio. He has had comms from his team. They know that Mikas is up there. They're not too sure where Cookbub is, but Federico knows that he is pretty close to safe. I don't know that he's hit the button here. I think he is coming back. He's heard the push. We have seen a player go down there. I think that might have been Cookbub. No, Mikas has gone down through that doorway. Bookbab still up, playing aggressively. And I think we've just seen Federico coming up to support. Ultimately goes down, meaning round 2 will go to Team Never Stop of China. Meaning they have gone 2 for 2 in this grand final match.
Bro.
Hello and welcome back to this grand final round of the Nation versus Nation Pacific League tournament. We are at the halfway mark of our #1 placeholder, the grand final of the grand final round between Team Never Stop of China and Team Golden Tooth of Korea. Our matches today have been taking place on the lab location, and so far we have seen a clean sweep from Team Never Stop of China, currently 2 points to 0. Very much looking like the favorites here. Any big takeaways for you, Jazza?
Team Never Stop, the communication, their ability to change their strategy, as we saw in that last raid. As soon as they knew where the other team were, you could see Federico, he ditched that button and he was like, no, I'm going to come up, I'm going to support my teammates, and we're doing this on the fly. They're very quick off the trot. So it's amazing to watch.
It seems to be the real structure on this mode 2, the labs location, where you do get some very early aggression. You get the early crosses, you get the counters on counters we were talking about before. But you see a few players go down in the opening minute of the round, and then there's sort of a slowdown as both teams prioritize what are we going to do? Are we going to hold the objectives? Are we going to stop, slow down, try and get some information on where the opposing team are? And then in those final minutes, as they're about to hit the button, that 7-minute timer hits, and they can hit the cargo elevator at that point and take the win. It all just like chaos breaks out. And we've seen that both rounds so far. Again, Jazz, I have to say, I really, really want to see Team Golden Tooth prioritize those objectives going into this.
Yeah, they don't seem to be playing the objective very much at the moment. Maybe because of the early losses that they had in the raid, it kind of threw them off a little bit, but they are playing fairly passively. As I said, they need to be more proactive, not reactive to what's going around them. Right now, Team Never Stop are setting the tone. They are setting the bar, and unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like Golden Tooth can get a win on the board.
That's it. I mean, it is Never Stop's game to lose. They hold all the cards in the raids we've seen so far because they have been able to secure not only the cargo elevator, they have been able to get those early picks on Team Korea. They've been able to get Federico down in around the basement, ready to make a move onto the G button. In the first raid, he was in there. He held it. He repelled anyone that wanted to come down there, supported closely by Yumo. But they also had Lu up guarding that cargo elevator. So they had both. They had all the cards, and Korea just were not able to take it back from them. In that second round, they did not prioritize going down to the G button at all. We saw a very late rotation. They obviously lost one player in that opening exchange. AA Lu went down to Dip Lu. So what they did is they went, okay, well, that's fine. That's okay. We've lost a play here, but we have 2 people guarding that cargo elevator, right? Ultimately, you will not be able to get out of this raid. You will not be able to take the win while we are here trying to stop you, right? What that meant is rather than having Federico and Yumo moving down to try and secure the button, they actually sent Federico roaming. And Federico, he's mainly a solo player. I've watched a few of his Billy streams. He likes to play on his own, PvPing wherever he can, and that's exactly what he did. They sent him into the middle. He was trying to get that audio to pass back up to his team. And then he moved downstairs to try and get to that G button so that he could hit it there and allow his team to take the extract and take the win. And ultimately, the moment he heard from his team, both of the Team Korea players, they are up here with us and they are trying to push, they ended up sending Federico back up there. And it just goes to show at this level of gameplay, they can adjust on the fly. And we've just seen a much more professional, established, well-practiced game out of Team Never Stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we are cutting over to our players as they move to their starting locations, getting ready to do all of the starting routines, the super waters, the moonshines. Hot rods. There's a condensed milk there as well. That's what I haven't seen yet.
Interesting. That will tank your hydration, but then he's got the super water
there.
to back
That's
it back
right.
up. So interesting. At the moment, Team Never Stop just seems to be controlling the momentum, and they're setting the tone of it. So I really hope that we get to see Golden Tooth be able to come out, maybe charge out of the gates and try and switch that momentum back.
Exactly, and the thing is, Golden Tooth are not out of this yet. They can still win the next 2 rounds, and then we have to go into a tiebreaker, which of course will mean that it will come down to the overall time to win each round. Will decide the #1 spot. It is not over yet for Korea, but they will need to change it up. They will need to really prioritize taking those objectives, putting the pain onto Team Never Stop, not allowing them to control the flow of the raid, as you said, Jazza.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Team Golden Tooth right now, they have so much pressure on them. Everything is on the line off this one raid. Team Never Stop can now take a back seat and say, you know what, if you want to slow play it, you keep playing slow. That's fine. We'll run the timer down. We'll take that draw, because ultimately that's a win for Team Never Stop.
It is at this point. That is a really good point. If they go to a draw now, that is an additional point, essentially, for Team Never Stop, meaning that Korea will not be able to pull that overall set draw.
I honestly, I don't think that Golden Tooth have a choice, but they have to be more aggressive and play the objective.
Now, they do have the advantage of starting at that kitchen spawn, which means that they have the option of running a 2-2 split, doing that early push to try and counter any movement towards the cargo elevator that Team Never Stop have shown that they will want to do in each of these rounds. They know they want to hold that endpoint objective. There is an opportunity for Team Golden Tooth to counter that play and send 2 of their own players around to try and take the cargo elevator. As the timer nears that 27-minute mark, meaning our players will be launching out of their spawns in just a second.
You can see they're already prepping their inertia, already getting it ready to go.
That's right, Federico, CG, all of them moving down underneath. That is a play that I have not seen before, because this essentially completely neuters any kind of early aggressive cross from Team Golden Tooth, and we can see it. They have started off, they are doing the cross. We see Cookbab up the top with Mikas. They are looking for the cross, they are looking for the players, they are looking for that audio, but Team Never Stop are nowhere to be seen.
They're all downstairs, you know. This is actually a rotation that we have yet to see.
That's exactly right. But allow Team Korea to take that top cargo elevator.
I suppose at this point in time, do we think that from Team Never Stop, they're just going to be able to play the button? Protect the button?
Again, $5,000. That top spot is on the line, Jazza. That might be a clever play. Korea have dug themselves in around the blue stairs, holding the cargo elevator there.
Unfortunately, guys, you do need to flick that switch first, though. So if they've allowed Team Never Stop to set up defensive positions around that button, I don't see how they're going to be able to take it back from them. It's a very hard room to push into.
But that being said, you know, we have 4 players up for Team Golden Tooth, which is the first time they've been in this situation at the start of a round.
You see Mickey's pre-firing around the corner.
The big 50-round drum mags on that M1A. It is absolutely worthwhile putting a few M61 into those corners, stopping anyone from trying to swing on him. We cut back over with Team Never Stop. They are bedded in around that G button. We see Federico, CG, Lou, all holding different corners. This is not a play that we've seen from them just yet, but we also saw they have 1 player on the rotate outside in that metal hallway, because we've actually seen that corridor used more often than I would have expected, including by Team Korea in the first round.
Absolutely. It's this is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Team Golden Tooth pushing up now, closing in on that G switch. Prey with the prepped grenade ready to go. His teammate opening the door for him.
Very interesting play here, running a 3-1 split, leaving Cookbab up there to hold that cargo elevator. This could be very, very bad. Team Never Stop. Having 3 very capable, very skilled Korean players coming down to try and take that G button.
Blue emptying a mag there into the door.
Remember, there are a few spots here where you can get good information. You can kind of see down through the hinges of these doors in the basement of labs.
Absolutely, there's quite a few cheeky angles as well that you can get, but we see Team Never Stop and Federico. He is just holding his position. He is comfortable. He knows that they have to come to him.
Did you see that spot that CG was sitting in though?
Yeah.
Jumped up on the pipes there, peeking down through the tiniest of gaps, just daring anyone to show their face through that doorway.
Seeing a lot of suppressive fire happening at the moment.
CG pulling the nade, seeing if he can get anyone to move.
I believe that was almost a team kill with a grenade.
That was actually very, very, might have even been the nade from CG. We see them
CG?
all scattering everywhere, trying to get away from that blast radius. Again, most of our players have been running the Vogs. That is a very short timer, especially on a map like Labs where people can be close. More nades going out from CG. Trying to keep this round moving. He is keeping them suppressed in there. He still hasn't shown that he is jumped up on those pipes. So if Team Korea attempt to push through too aggressively, he may have the opportunity to take out 1 or 2 of them before they get the chance to trade. Yumo moving back around there.
Now.
What do we think he's trying to do here, Jazza?
He may be going for the wide push. He may be trying to get up in behind Team Golden Tooth right now.
I'm wondering if they've been able to get information on just how many players they have in the hallway there. They may have said, hey, we think they only have 1 player. Just Cookbab is currently up at the cargo elevator. Maybe they're thinking that they will be able to secure both with an early aggressive push onto Cookbab.
Blue's smoking out that corridor now. He does not want to be able to give any information away right now. Is it possible that they may have heard Yumo pushing up that corridor?
It is definitely possible. You can hear the front over there. We can hear CG is still throwing grenades into that hallway. Very, very close there. He's definitely got that throw nailed. Both doors open, giving him plenty of range.
Blue answering back with his own grenade.
We just saw the wiggle peak of Blue there. CG has taken a shot to the arm. We can see it's broken. It is now blacked. He does have a bleed as well. That, to me, means that they may have a good idea. No, he is able to take... who went down there, Jazza?
I believe that was Mikey's who's just gotten taken down.
Amazing. And I don't know that they've managed to pick exactly where he is yet. I think that damage might have come from that early nade that we saw.
Absolutely.
Smoke grenade coming out now, again being used to great effect. And this is the thing that I love about the Nation vs Nation rule set, is it is much closer to what you would see in something like Counter-Strike, where you need to use them to your advantage.
Yeah, that is a tough angle to try and play against. Diplu getting some damage off with the grenade. Diplu going down though. CG getting the kill there.
I believe that may have been CG dropping down, taking heavy damage to his arm, to his leg, to his throat. No, it was actually Yumo that did it. Yumo, an absolute chicken nugget as well though. Prey, heavy damage there. Armor not looking too bad. But he's certainly feeling the result of that fight.
5 health.
That is single-digit health right now, and he is still just searching away. Lou and CG on the hunt. He is about to bleed out. He has lost his...
Has he gotten off?
What has happened?
No,
and there he
down
goes. Dying to a... That is not something we've ever seen in NvN.
Prey not having the meds on him, trying to find and loot the meds off that dead corpse, and unfortunately just took him too long, that bleed.
So this is now... Oh, and Cookbub going down. Being heard as he pushed up there. And that is it. That is a squad wipe for Team Korea. Team Never Stop of China. You can hear them celebrating. They are so happy right now with that performance. They tried a strategy we had never seen before, that under rotate, that moving in and trying to prioritize holding the G button, basically saying, you know what, Golden Tooth, you guys can have cargo this time. We've had it the last 2 rounds. It's only fair, but guess what? Now you have to try and come down to the button if you really want to take the extract and take the win.
Absolutely. 11 out of 11 raids to Team Never Stop. They have not dropped a set.
They are the team to beat. They really, really are. And of course, that is now 3 of the 4. And remember, this is a best of 4 tournament, but they will still play all 4. We give them the opportunity to have a bit of fun with the last one, see if they can turn it around. We saw that in our first set today, where Team Expensive Healthcare did go 3 rounds in, all 3 up against Team Sicario of OCE. But Team OCE, Yo-Yo, what an absolute thriller right at the end. That was the highlight reel right there. Managed to clutch up and take the final round. Ultimately, though, still landing in 4th place. This means that this last round, they will go back to the 2nd round spawn. So we will see Team Never Stop starting from the kitchen. Team Golden Tooth will be moving over to the parking stairs, which means that, hey, maybe they'll have the option of doing the wild rotate underneath that we saw from our Team Never Stop in the round just gone, Jazza.
Do we think that we're going to see any meaning in this last one here, guys?
I actually think that they're going to play it all the way to the end, because they're not like, some of them are streamers, don't get me wrong, but they have a competitive pedigree. They want to put their skills on show. They want to go down fighting, even if the scoreboard is already drawn, because that's what they do. And one thing that I'll always remember Federico saying was, when talking about esports, he said, "I'm a soldier," and that was it. That's what he's here to do. He is here to fight, and he is here to fight to the very end.
It's been one hell of a match, and a well played by Team Never Stop across the past week. All of their raids there have played absolutely superbly, taking down Team Sicario yesterday, and now coming out on top against Golden Tooth. Are we going to see a 12 for 12?
Look, and if I was in their position, I would want to do that, just so that you can go in after and go, I played Nation versus Nation. I played the Pacific League and undefeated all the way through, not just winning the round, but winning absolutely everything that they went into, every single match. They walked out as the victors. So I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas. I reckon they're going to keep pushing, Jazza. I think that they'll want that feather in their cap to just say, look, we're on top of the world. We are the #1 in the Pacific League. And again, we have seen teams from the United States, from Korea, from China, from the Oceanic region. Like, there is a huge portion of the world competing in this league.
And there's a lot of caliber. I would love to see the amount of hours of all players totaled up together. It would be an immaculate number.
We did have a view of that, and let me just say, I think the smallest number that I saw across all of our players was 6,500 hours, and that was like an outlier. Like, that was one of the lower ones. It was not uncommon to see 12,000 hours, 13,000 hours. Like, these players, they are here, they are competitive, they have the hours, they have the experience, and we've seen that. We've seen them going into some pretty wild holes. I don't know about you, Jazza. I've had the notepad out. I've been looking at some of the peaks that they've done, some of the pre-fires, and gone, I need to remember that one for next time, because
a couple of angles. That angle held by CG in that last raid, you can tell that he has practiced throwing nades from that position over and over again. He just
absolutely nailed it every time. Yeah, exactly. There was no, and if it was me, I'll be honest, I'm not great with the old nade throw. I can tell you now, if I was in CG's position, I would line it up perfectly. I'd be calculating that trajectory in my head, and I'd be like, yeah, I've got this. I'm going to get them on the ropes with this nade, and then I would throw it, and it would hit the pole right in front of me and just bounce straight back. So you can definitely see that he knows what he's doing. He's got the experience, he's got the skill, and he is absolutely putting it to work. So look, really, really proud of what all of our players have been able to do through this entire league, because I've learned a lot, and I've been, like I said, I've been playing many hours myself, but some of the strategies and some of the ways that all of our players are working as a team, and we've all been this, like, we've been there. We're all Tarkov players, right? For me, Peak Tarkov is a duo or a really comfortable trio, but the fact that they're able to run 4-mans, often running together with very few trip-ups, like the comms are clean. Everyone knows what the other players are doing, what they look like. They are just so well practiced. Jazz, I don't know if, I don't think that I would be able to do that. I don't know if you could. I'd be TKing everyone.
No, I would probably be in the same boat.
Definitely. As we cut back over to our players now, as they deploy for the 4th and final round of this Nation versus Nation Pacific League Grand Final. As we see Team Golden Tooth over at that parking button spawn, going through the ritual that they do, the super water's out, the, you know what, I'm going to go home after this and we'll check condensed milk, because I am not sure what additional bonus that's giving.
Get from that.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only time I have a condensed milk and eat it raid is for that darn Jaeger task. Hello, soldier. You call yourself, well, have you tried dehydrating in a bush for 5 minutes? What a cruel man Jaeger is.
So as we see, all the teams here getting ready, getting prepped, chugging down those moonshines, chugging down the super waters, giving his teammates a little bit of a cheers, and down the hatch it goes.
Remember, all of our players will be released at the 27-minute mark on the timer that you can see up the top right-hand side. And you can see it. The one thing that I've also noticed here, Jazza, is they don't just go in and start, double-clicking things in their inventory. They've actually worked out the order they want to do it in, how much time it takes. So not only do they know when they need to go charging out of their spawn, they know exactly how much time it will take for them to go through each of those boosting items that they have to make sure that they get as much usable time from them in each of these raids.
Yeah, very, very calculated across all of these teams, and we've seen it across all of them throughout the entirety of Nation v Nation. Every team doing as much preparation as they can, really showing their knowledge of the game, but also showing their ability as well.
And I mean, ultimately, this is it. You have to min-max in these. You can't muck around. So now we are seeing Federico has moved off. That is a view that does not have the delay. So we will be focusing on the other streams here. They will be heading out of this one. So we can see the counter there, just under 15 seconds for the rest of our players to start moving out. As we cut over to Team Korea, launching out of the parking stairs spawn.
I wonder what rotation we're gonna see here, afraid.
No, they're doing the cross that we've seen earlier.
Straight across.
They don't seem to be doing the run over to the elbow, though. They have prioritized getting in and under the cat's office, manager's office. Mick is moving up, putting shots across. Yumo going down to that early M1A spray. Dip Blue putting some pain onto one of the Team China players moving down the stairs. DG scoping down towards the cargo elevator end of the medical tents. It is all happening. They have prioritized the fight for this one, Jazza.
Absolutely. Yumo, that's a big loss for Team Never Stop very, very early in the raid. They know they've won. However, if they still want to go 12 for 12,
they're going to have to earn it, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Golden Tooth making them work for it.
Yeah, we were wondering, are they going to meme it? Are they going to have a bit of fun? But no, again, I said this, they are absolute professionals. They are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to win every match put in front of them. So we have some interesting rotations,
rotating around. Yeah, he's going through Dark Officers, seeing if he can get that long peek. Always a dangerous time in those Dark Officers, because as soon as anybody hears From my personal point of view, as soon as anybody hears any glass breaking on labs, you know that there's someone in dark offices.
Oh, 100%. Because the thing is, there's some interesting but also very, very repeatable audio on labs. So, the moment the glass breaks, someone is over there, they're on the top level. And there are some super long angles that you can get on that. I would be avoiding the dark office at any cost. But no, look, Mikas is happy with where he's gone. As we see Lou in the bottom right corner, he has moved up to the cargo elevator, clearing it out there. Does he know that he may be the first person there? Is it his to hold? I think he knows. Team Korea still rotating around through near those dark offices. So that CG from Team China has gone down, which means we are now into I believe, a 3v2 situation in the favor of Team Golden Tooth of Korea.
Yeah, Federico and AA Lu, they are not anywhere near each other to be able to support one another. So they've got to be able to batten down the hatches here if they want to take this 12 for 12.
That's right. Federico was doing a rotate around the basement. Now, Team Korea will want to prioritize getting down to that G button. They haven't moved up to the cargo elevator. They may not know where Lou is, although they will now after those shots down the hallway. Mika's taking damage to his thorax. I think red there. Dip Blue moving down, as I said, going for that push onto G button. Push shots through the door. I don't know. Is that where Federico was? Are we seeing anything here? We're seeing blood. He's definitely hit something.
Malfunction, they're afraid.
Unfortunate.
But he's
switching over to their second switch. Unbelievable. He does take out Federico there. Bub and Lou meters apart. Both of those doors closed. Both of them look to have reasonable health at the moment. Team Golden Tooth, just they're down, but they are not out.
This is the sort of aggression that we needed to see earlier on. You can see how aggressive and you can see how well they can play when they are trying to put the pressure back onto Never Stop. It's really, really good to see.
Only in a 3v1 situation. Dip Blue taking some time to heal up off screen at the moment. Mika's doing the little wiggle there, looking to see what he can see without exposing too much. Lou moving around slowly in behind those closed double doors, not too far away from the cargo elevator.
Oh. Hey, Lou going down.
He does. He gets it's absolutely pinged through the door by Mikas, which means that Team Korea, they ended the dream run. They ended the dream run for Team China. They have only managed to do 11 of 12, meaning that this grand final set is a 3-2-1. No tiebreaker here today. But, Team Korea did manage to get in there at the very end to show that they are absolutely competitors. Even after 3 rounds, they were not out. They were still coming here. They were bringing their A game, and ultimately they were able to take the round at the end. We will need to confirm our score on everything. So we will not have the formal announcement of the winner just yet. But what a round. What a round by Team Korea there, Jazza.
Yeah, Golden Tooth really taking it to them, taking it to Team Never Stop there. As I said, the aggression was there, the intent was there, and they set the momentum with that raid. And it's interesting. I'd like to see what would have happened if there was maybe a couple of more raids up their sleeve. But at the end of the day, they are the only team who has put up a point against Team Never Stop.
That's it. That is a feather in the bonnet for them as well. Like, that was a fantastic effort. They didn't want to stop, which is, I guess, kind of Team China's name as well. I mean, a clever play on words. But look, fantastic effort from both of our teams. We are going to be cutting over to a break for a few minutes as the NvN team go back, check over all of the VODs, check over all of the scores, look at all of the kills, all of the objectives, make sure that we have a very clear view of our top 4 spots. So again, don't disappear. The drops are still on. If you haven't managed to claim all of them yet, I did see there was an MCX in there, which for me, one day it will be meta, and I will cope until it does. And we will be back in a few minutes' time. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and we will see you very shortly. Hi, and welcome back to Nation versus Nation. We have seen it all. What a wild couple of weeks we've had here, Jazza. We've seen the regional eliminators last weekend, where we had 2 teams from each of our 4 locations, the US, China, Korea, and of course the Oceanic, Australia, New Zealand region, duking it out for the opportunity to move forward to this weekend, the finals weekend. Yesterday we saw the semi-finals where our teams duked it out for the opportunity to go into the grand final winners bracket, which is what we have watched here today. We saw Team Expensive Healthcare of the US going up against Team Golden Tooth. They played, I will say that for me, I thought that Expensive Healthcare were going in as the favorites for that one, especially after their performance in the regional matchup. But ultimately, they were outdone. They were beaten by Team Golden Tooth, who then moved through into the finals here. We also saw Team Sicario of OCE headed up against Team Never Stop of China. They went over to the reserve military base. We saw them doing plays that we'd never seen before, brand new mode for NvN. It was something that no one had had the opportunity to see, but ultimately they were able to take very strong ownership of the dome, that really strong sniper position with the mounted grenade launcher and everything over the top of the King building, where they were able to then drop all these smokes at the end of every round, grab the MBSS backpack, grab the flare out of it and shoot it off, meaning that ultimately they went through to form this top grand final bracket that we have just watched here today. Earlier, we of course saw the lineup between Team Sicario of OCE and Team Expensive Healthcare of NA, where they duked it out in our 3rd and 4th place brackets. Of course, a big thank you to our sponsors. NvN. If you are looking for a Discord bot that can help to protect your Discord community from cheaters, from people that are up to no good, that are law breakers, TOS breakers, you name it, NvN is for you. Take a look into it. It can help protect these large communities. As someone who has to admin a few very large Discord groups, I can tell you now, bots are worth their weight in gold, and NvN is definitely one of the best. And of course, Battle State Games. Battle State Games, we wouldn't have Tarkov without that team. We also wouldn't have this prize pool for the Nation versus Nation Pacific League. $10,000 prize pool split up amongst our top 3 positions. So first place today will be walking away with $5,000. Second place will have $3,000, and of course, third place $2,000. And mate, we saw some wild matches leading up to this point, and I'm hearing that they are just starting to come up with all of the final scores now. There was some drama, some things being reviewed, a lot of stuff happening. You know, this always happens in these competitive environments, but ultimately we saw some amazing matchups.
Absolutely. The matches today and yesterday, it's been an absolute banger of a weekend, especially getting these grades out. Really, really happy to be here and really been happy to witness it.
It's been great. Let's cut over to the scoreboard. They are finalized now, and we get the opportunity to take a look at our winners. And there it is, 4th place. Team Sicario representing OCE, showing that they were absolute gamers. A lot of the time they were playing with essentially 3.5 players, but they still won some rounds, got some kills, made some stuff happen. Brilliant plays by the team there. In 3rd place, and they will be walking away with $2,000. Expensive Healthcare of the US, 4 Sherpas and Jip, as I like to call them, a great bunch of players, which leads us into our top 2. We have just watched this matchup, and what a matchup it was on the lab. Team Golden Tooth of Korea, 2nd place, they will be walking away with $3,000, and what an absolute wild ride that they have had to this point. They were able to be the only ones to take any round away from, of course, Jazza, our number 1 place for this Nation versus Nation Pacific League tournament, Team Never Stop of China. Congratulations to Federico and his team. What an amazing, amazing run that they've had. They did not lose a single match, a single one, until the very last round of the grand final against Golden Tooth. Jazza, what can you even say about a team like this? The level of competitive skill that they have, the teamwork.
Absolutely. You know that they came in prepared. You watched them when you were there, when they were playing on reserve. They were cool, they were calm, and they were calculated through all of it. I was interested to see how much of a change it was going to be seeing them go from reserve to lab today, but they didn't disappoint. Each one of their members or of the team is just an absolute gamer, and I tell you what, I would not want to be going up against them in an online raid.
Absolutely not. That's the thing nightmares are made of for me, I will say. But look, very, very impressed by the way that they played. You know, they understood the strengths of the players that they were with. They played in each other's pockets where they needed to. They gave each other space where they needed to. We saw that where they prioritized taking the objective. And, you know, I thought that their plays were always going to be going up to that cargo elevator, betting themselves in, and then just basically saying to Team Golden Tooth, come and get it if you think you can. But no, they actually rotated around a bit. They played the late objectives. They tried to hold the G button in round 3. There was the one where they actually sent Federico out on a hunting mission where it was like, you know what, guys, we have this. The cargo elevator is secure. Fed, go have some fun. Go and hunt some people. And that's what they did. And ultimately, that got them the win in round 3 of their set. But look, overall, you've been here casting with me for 2 days now. Jazza, what would you say the highlight that you've seen in the last 2 days has been from a player perspective?
As far as the highlight for me, I am biased towards our Sicario OCE boys. Just seeing that last raid from Yo-Yo, just absolutely taking them down 1v4, and he just absolutely smoked them. His movement was spot on, his aim was on point, and it was just a pleasure to watch. It has to be the highlight for me.
That was really unexpected. We thought it was going to be a bit of a clean sweep once most of the team went down, but Yo-Yo continues to impress every single time. You know, he is happy to go against any number of players at any skill level, and he will give it his absolute best, as will all of our players here. Like, they have been doing just an amazing job. I will say a highlight for me has been watching Expensive Healthcare. Some of the plays from that team, the coordination that they had, the ability to change up their strategies, like all of our teams have been able to. But you know, it gives me a lot of hope for the future of what competitive Tarkov might look like. You know, these teams that have come up not just as streamers, but also as competitive players. They've come from other games. And I know I've spoken with a couple of players and they said, oh, look, I played competitive CS or I played competitive Valorant before I came over to try my hand at Tarkov. And, you know, they had the opportunity here now to pull a team in around them. They had a couple of weeks, a couple of months for some of the teams to really practice a lot of these game modes, get some cohesion amongst their teams, because, like I said, it is hard. It is very difficult running in a 4-man squad in Tarkov, because even if they are players that you run with, like, everything is happening so quickly in these competitive matches that if your comms are not clear, if you cannot rely on the person next to you to do what they need to do, the whole thing is going to be over before you even begin. But all of our teams here over the last couple of weekends have deserved to be here. They have shown that they have that competitive pedigree, and they've all just been fantastic to watch. So, Jazza, I do have to say thank you to all of our teams. Thank you to yourself for joining me and helping me make me cast in here this weekend at PAX. So I know we've had a couple of late nights, and then rolling in here at lunchtime has been it's been interesting. I'm not going to deny it. But again, another huge thank you to our sponsors, Infi. If you're looking for a Discord bot to help protect your community, go and check them out. And of course, Battlestate Games for putting up the prize pool for this tournament, and everyone in chat. Everyone who's tuned into the English cast here on the Spicy Bush channel, anyone who has been watching the Korean cast on the NvN eSports channel, as well as all of our streams that we have going on over on Bilibili in Mandarin. It has been fantastic having everyone here. I hope you've enjoyed the drops. I'm hoping that I've managed to get the MCX. That's really what I'm aiming for. I can't buy them yet. I don't think my Peacekeeper level is high enough, but look, I'll be putting that gun to good use, hopefully when I get back home later tonight. But look, what an absolutely amazing time. If you are interested in seeing any of these players, make sure you jump over. We kept their nameplates up in the corner. So if there was anyone that you liked the way that they play, or you thought they had good banter, or they had a bit of a cheeky personality and you wanted to see more of them, jump over onto their Twitch streams, hit that follow button. They are free. If you do want to see more of this OCE-based tournament content as we move into Arena soon, DM, maybe, question mark. Make sure to hit the follow button here as well. Again, entirely free. It just makes sure that you'll get notified when we do go live. We will try and have more drops as well. I think they're always a nice little bonus for coming here, watching some real top level gameplay and getting rewarded in game for it as well. So look, super excited to see what the future holds for competitive esports, competitive Tarkov. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time.